I would like you, we will visit here. This is the room for our participants. So as you can see here in the back side, we have rooms that are for rent where people can basically sit, offices, and also working spaces where people can just only rent a chair to do the work. We will go upstairs. I would like to show you the indoor farming that we have. And the auditorium, and then we will go downstairs into the research facility. First, shortly, the auditorium. As you can see, this is a big room. We can make it in parts where we can do webinars and presentations and everything for the students. This is often used also for companies to basically present to big groups of students what their company is about. I will dim the light again. Let's go to the, as you can see here, we have, this is our, it's quite empty. We are rebuilding this area. This is a black box. I will keep it closed, but in this black box, companies can do their presentation all around them. So basically every wall will be online. This is our lead research cell. At the moment we have another one. It's a container that's standing outside, but we are not allowed to show that one. But as you can see here, because it's holiday time, there was no research done. But here are LEDs that can be put on different types of colors, and then each compartment has the same climate, and then we can see what the result is on the different spectrums of the light. Important is, for example, for entrepreneurs to test what optimal lighting strategy would be available for their crop, and then buy their products. Now from this side on, we can see from the top the research facility, all the compartments. Maybe it's not, I don't know if it's visible on camera, but here we can see now this compartment has a fogging system, and the fogging system was or is running at the moment. But these are the compartments from the top. So here you can already see the connection with the technical demonstration area. So the people can basically directly see from the school part, can look into the research facility. That part on that side is the school, where the students are hosted. On this side we have Bosman van Zaal. And we have been talking about high-tech plastic greenhouses, but they are specialized in also the high-tech glass greenhouses, but also in high-end plastic greenhouses. Also a turnkey greenhouse builder. We will have to go downstairs again. this is where we can enter our research facility for the entrance for visitors. Here basically people are counting the insects. Before we go to the hygiene area, maybe it's also nice here to show the the all climate greenhouse from the side. We see in the top, we see air tubes for cooling the greenhouse. We see the artificial light. Now, at this moment, they are tables, so they have been growing some potted plants. On the top of the greenhouse, there is a lot of HPS light installed. It was about 40,000 lux, so they can increase the temperature only with the light with about 24 degrees, I think. Now if we look from this side, here is this nice overview. What makes it also special is that we see here Priva, we see Ridder, and we see Hogendoorn. All three computer providers are connected to this compartment. So if you want to control this room with an Hogendoorn, it's possible, or with the other two. So you can basically control and learn on the system you would like to. Now it's very important to have hygiene in the greenhouse. And it gets more and more important because there is a lot of aggressive viruses in greenhouses. If you get a virus in your greenhouse, it's the end of the crop and you need to change it. So that's why we have a floor mat for cleaning the shoes. And then we can go onto the system where we can disinfect our hands and be fully clean. Now we are not entering one of the greenhouses. We are not entering one of the greenhouses, so I don't have to wear complete suit and shoes. Now here we see the front side of the compartment. Compartments are, how big are the compartments? 170 square meters or 85 square meters. Depending on what type of research you want to do, you can basically rent a compartment here. Now maybe also nice to show on this side, it's a tomato crop, as it's normally growing in Dutch greenhouses. I think this research is done by the Priva. Mainly you can see on the poster in front which companies are involved, also with the techniques. And here they are together with, I think, the Bachelor of Science from in Holland, optimizing climate control in the greenhouse. They are now preparing a lot of things, but you see potted plants, you see vegetables, all things are basically mixed together. We do testing on insects, on chemicals, new growing methods, new artificial lights. Hello. Now, if you have seen that the greenhouse is here, I think 7 meters tall, so quite high, but also quite complex because we have so many different compartments. Now, this is the technical area of the greenhouse. Behind this wall we have the boiler room, where for now we still use natural gas, but we hope in the future to be connected to geothermal heat plant. So then that's also one of the targets of the Dutch government, to reduce the use of natural natural gas, and to be more sustainable. Now this is a gas boiler. It basically, it's just starting now. It's basically heating up. I can open the door if you want. So I won't go inside. It's too noisy with my microphone on. But in front you see basically the burner, and now it's basically using the ventilator to create air pressure, and then it's basically using gas for heating the boiler. It basically makes hot water, and the hot water is basically divided by the pumps to each compartment. And on this side we have our irrigation room. So first shortly about the setup before we go inside. As I mentioned, we use different types of water. We try to use mainly rainwater because it falls out of the sky, so it's for free, but we can also use water from the rivers or reverse osmosis water to pump the water from the ground and desalinate it. Then basically the water goes through the unit where the water is basically injected with fertilizer and the right to make it the right EC and pH. Now as you can see here we have A and B tanks, but we have quite a lot. Now the reason we have so many A and B tanks is because we have 36 to 40 compartments that need different types of fertilizer. You can imagine if you have a small, not a small greenhouse, but a normal greenhouse with only tomatoes with one variety, you'd only need maybe 2 A and 2 B tanks. The water basically, the nutrients are sucked from the tanks, mixed with water, and basically delivered to the plants. The plants eat it, and the water is basically recycled. So we grow on the gutter systems. All the water that runs out of the growing media is collected, and then it runs off into the ground, into pipes. We store the dirty water. It goes to a unit where we, for example, filter the water, and after filtering it, in this case, it goes to the Vialux. So with UV, it's basically disinfected. And then we have clean water storage tanks that we can use to basically reuse the water again. So for example, 70–80% fresh water and always about 20% reusable water, but making the circle round. Let's look inside. These two tanks, have you just seen on the maquette, is fresh water and reverse osmosis water, so desalinated water. Here we have the control system on the computer, so the grower can see basically what is the demand of each compartment, but also what's in the storage tanks, which pumps are running, how full are all the tanks. And basically from this point, so this is an overview, behind it are all the settings to make sure that each compartment gets water at the right time. Reverse osmosis system is next to it. On the back side we have our fertilizer storage tanks. So it's all liquid fertilizer, it's automatically pumped and injected. Because we can see here on the back side we have the injection system that basically mixes the fertilizer in the two tanks, and then they are putting it in A1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just open one, sorry for that. You can look inside, you see here it's quite brown. I hope it's visible, but that's because of the iron. Some of the fertilizers cannot be mixed together because then it gets solid. This water is then pumped depending on which one you want to mix here in the system. And on this side, you see here, this is the A and the B with the Venturi system. So the water is basically, this is pulsing, and then the water is sucked by the Venturi into the system and mixed and sent into the greenhouse. This is one of the systems. Of course, we have more, so there were 4 more of these units. On this side, we have the clean water, and on the other side, we have the dirty water. So from the dirty water, it goes to the cleaning unit that's in this corner, and then it comes back as fresh water. Maybe also nice to show is that this is the filter, the electric filter that I showed you in the board, in the technical display area, and these are UV filters. So first we clean the water, because you don't want any debris in the water, because then the light is not getting through to the whole, all particles of the water. So when it's completely clean, it goes through the UV, and the water is then disinfected and can be reused. Now, to make the circle completely round, here we are back again in the technical display area. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I also hope that in the future you will be able to visit our center. You're very, very welcome, and then we can basically do a live tour with you guys to tell even more about what we can do in horti business. Thank you very much for listening.